Believe me, these graphic designs are painful to look at. And don't blame me if you really want to poke your eyes out after watching today's video.
Now the first design is right here, and let's do a quick scan. So we have alignment, check, hierarchy, double check, a color scheme, check, check, check.
So what's actually wrong with this design?
The fundamental problem here is the design style. Do you think this looks like a source product or a product you use to unblock your drains?
This is a perfect example of not knowing the target audience and not understanding typography psychology.
This narrow and bold sans serif font is very typical of a cleaning product.
And hey, it's not something I actually want on my French fries either.
So here's the offending second design. It's a logo for Massimo, and no, this design hasn't been squashed in some kind of tragic Photoshop accident. The crazy problem is how the designer has envisioned this design.
And furthermore, come to think about it, why or how the client even accepted it.
There isn't much more to learn from this, to be honest. Apart from that, people can be weird in their decision making.
And yes, we are going to see some AI related machine design disasters later in the video.
So who wants a game of lineup 4?
I personally prefer Connect 4, but to each their own.
There are 2 bad design errors seen on this box, and again it seems like the problem here is just common sense. As a graphic designer, it's important to apply common sense and then to realize how the viewer is going to actually see that work. But yeah, looking at this design, firstly the girl has already won the game because she's connected 4 horizontally.
I mean, line up 4.
And then check out on the right. Those 3 counters are mysteriously floating if by magic. This next design problem is a very weird one indeed. And why would you design something with a transition like this? Moving from a succulent cut of cooked fish that slowly smoothens out to a person. It's yet more magical design wizardry.
I think somebody probably just learned a new skill in Photoshop and they just wanted to kind of show it off.
Okay, so here is a very interesting design problem. This is printed out a physical design in the window of a building. This has to be 100% designed by AI of some kind. Yet firstly, there is actually a learn more clickable call to action button printed out on a physical design.
You can tap all you want, it's not going to do anything.
And then the image on the right has absolutely no relevance to the text itself. Also, is that a child's mouth in the bell pepper?
So yeah, that's a prime example of how AI isn't all that just yet, because, well, this design is just a disaster.
Now, does Lisa Jackson deserve to die? I don't personally think so, but hey, that's maybe what the viewer is going to assume from this design. The problem here is the designer has ignored 2 very important graphic design principles. The first one is proximity. The wording Lisa Jackson, which is the author, and then the title of the book below are too close together.
Which can lead the viewer to assume there is just one sentence.
Also, there is little distinction between these 2 items in terms of hierarchy. The designer could have just used different fonts, color, or proper use of size, and that could help with hierarchy. But in this example of a van decal design, part of the van is making the model appear like the plastic surgery procedure didn't go too well.
Ouch.
This is often very important when it comes to logo designing, as the designer needs to be aware of how and where the design is going to be seen by the public.
Yeah, this is a really classic example of the designer not taking into consideration the context of the design.
This design came so close to being so good. I love the rustic colors, the choice of fonts, but the fonts have been used in a very awkward way. This is a classic case of using too many sizes of text and weird font combinations. It makes that reading experience a bit disjointed and just not fluid.
It's one of the more kind of subtle errors in today's video.
Tech the room tech, but no, it's actually meant to be the tech room. I see this kind of problem so often in beginner designers when they work on logos. It's the jumbling up of word orders or just switching up first letters of a word with a symbol. And it just makes things very confusing to look at and to decipher. And that's not good for a logo or any design.
But boy oh boy, wait until you see the next design because it takes things to new heights.
A wine club logo that either has to be a joke or just an AI artificial design. I know there has to be a G in there somewhere, but I just cannot find it. The end result is an insulting and a bit of a funny design that no business could ever actually use.
Simple common sense and just mastering the important graphic design principles can actually take you a long way. But if you want to actually further your education in this topic, then just click a video on screen. And until next time, guys, design your future today. Peace.